excited to start an evening with you, our first virtual fundraiser. This is Grow to Go, and I'm with Chef Lisa Lofberg from Little Moss Restaurant, and we are going to be cooking up a feast for you tonight, right?
Yeah, we have Taco Tuesday.
It's Taco Tuesday, and we're gonna get started. But we want to address a few things. So you're noticing that we don't have masks on. We debated this for quite a while, whether to be masked and gloved for this event, and decided that we put an extra length between the two of us so that we have a little bit of distance and that we are going without the masks so that it would be easier for you all to hear us. But please know that that's not the policy. That happens here under normal circumstances at Little Moss. The restaurant is closed tonight, and we are in here alone with just our two teammates that are supporting this. But normally you have masks on, everybody in the kitchen has masks on, the staff does when they're here on their normal business hours, and they're gloved. But we made the decision just for sound and effect tonight to forego the masks. But that's not normal. But these are not normal times. So I hope that you all have your Hidden Arum Paloma ready to go. We are ready to go. So
I'm hearing this a muffled audio.
And salute to all of you. And maybe we should be doing the toast that you were telling us about earlier.
Well, we could. Yeah, the
Swedish toast.
If you've been to the restaurant, you've seen the pictures at our bar. So normally I do it without with you, but we can do it with our palomas.
That's not like frowned upon.
No, I think it's fine.
And then we look into each other's eyes, and what's the?
You say skull, but in Swedish, but
there we go.
It's muffled.
Cheers.
Cheers. So,
okay.
And these look so pretty. I don't know if you see these. So if you did go the extra mile here to make the paloma.
Oh, it's okay.
We have extras. Don't worry.
I forgot
There's the lip on the front. That's okay.
Oh, good. I'm here. But you should be. This is a good time to make sure that you're chilling your bottle of wine, your rosé that you got in your tote bag. And I just want to do a shout out to Westport Vineyards for the wine that they gave us a great donation on. So enjoy those and get those iced up and ready. And then we're going to get started with our next task, the ceviche. You want to talk a little bit about why ceviche, and you serve it here at the restaurant, and give us a little lesson about ceviche. And you can put me to work.
We love ceviche. It's a really good way to highlight fresh local fish, and it's a summery, fun thing to serve that people don't always want to make.
Now they're saying no volume at all.
Yeah, it's a little intimidating to use raw fish at home, but as long as you're comfortable with your supplier, you know that whatever you're getting is really fresh. We decided to do scallops today because it's sort of a good gateway to raw fish, I think.
Yeah.
They're really sweet and tender and easy to prepare, and the texture is really nice. So if people are nervous about serving raw fish, this oyster is raw and little next
I know, and we eat sushi, but for some reason, it always feels like ceviche is a little out of my limits, so I'm excited for this tonight. And this is like a real reason why you got all those limes in your bags.
Yeah,
there are limes throughout the whole meal, but there's a lot that go into this, because that's basically what it cooks in.
Yeah, so the citrus juice actually cooks the ceviche as it sits over the 15 minutes or so. And you can eat it straight away. A lot of shrimp species out here. You want to let it marinate for about 15 minutes. That's true ceviche.
Okay.
Sorry, we can use scallop. Yeah, you got the fancy.
I did get the fancy knife. It's got a nice engraving of a dragon. Is that a dragon?
Yeah. So the first step you want to do is every scallop comes with a little muscle there, which the texture is a little weird. So some people like to eat it, but I usually peel it right off. It peels off easily. And then You just sort of take the scallop, you can see that there's sort of a grain running through vertically. So you want to cut a circle, series of circles.
Oh, okay. So we're actually going the long way.
Yeah, yeah. So,
okay, was not prepared for that.
Oh.
All right. I'm already learning.
So you can cut each scallop into about 4 pieces. Sometimes you can get 5 or 6 if it's a big scallop. Looks like I got 5. Great.
Can you guys pause for 1 second? We're having a serious sound issue where our sound is fine, but everybody else is saying that their sound is not working. So we're just going to do a pause for a second.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we're pausing to do a sound check.
Could you?
Sure,
Yeah, I would just talk like normally so we can figure this out.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just while we're doing sound check. So at home, keep cutting your scallops while we fix the sound. Bear with us. Yeah, I would never think to take. Okay, so I think we're unmuted. Sorry, everyone, we're just trying to do a few logistics on this end so the sound would be better. So we're checking to make sure the sound is okay now. And we are monitoring the chat box, but a little bit differently. So if you can just say yes in the chat box, that would be great. We won't know? Okay, we're gonna hope for the best. We think this will take care of it. So what we've been doing is we've been cutting the scallops on from this angle, right?
Yeah, into the
grains almost, into discs like this, and then making them pretty in the bowl, right? Like that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do this one extra, but then you can move on.
Okay, sure. So once you're done with that, I usually take a little bit of sea salt and just gently season them. Make sure each one gets a little bit. And then I have the recipe calls for lime and orange and lemon juice all juiced together. So I've done that already here, mixed together, and you can adjust if your orange is very tart, you can use less lime juice, or if it's very sweet, you can use a little more depending on how you like it. But that recipe usually works pretty well for me. So then you just pour it over.
So about how much lime juice was that again?
So this was the juice of 1 lime, 1 orange, and 1 lemon.
For 2 servings.
For 2 servings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those of you making this at home for 4 have to double this recipe. So we're going to be making it for the 2 servings.
Yeah, this is actually a little extra. You might not need to fully double it. And then you just let it sit and marinate this way while you prep the other ingredients. So we have this going. Next, I like to take a little red onion.
Still going to drink mine.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's only right.
So I just take a red onion and peel the outside layer off. And then just do a few slices, a few small, thin slices. You don't need many. I like to go as thin as possible here.
Very professional.
And I I'll give a couple to you, Liz, and then you can just sort of take it apart and spread it over the top. You can also dice it if you prefer that.
This is like not that much.
No, it's not a lot.
You're
These,
doing a lot.
yeah, just a little to basically to accent the scallops.
Okay.
Then
Can they see it when we go like this?
yeah, you should be able to. So the onion is making me cry a little, so I'm gonna move it
No
over
cry.
here.
You should have cried when you stopped. You should have cried when you stopped.
I know, I wanted to. So next, we take a chili, and the recipe says Serrano, but I have these beautiful red chilies growing in my garden, so I thought, try these. But you can really use any spicy chili that you like.
So at home, in your bags, you've got 2 different types of hot peppers. So you've got the smaller ones, which are jalapenos, and those were like the ones we got were from Round the Bend Farm. And so we had them in green and yellow, but those are jalapenos. And then the longer green pepper that you got more slender, kind of like this shape, is the Serrano chili. So some of our produce, we try to do everything. So because this is a fundraiser for Grow Education, and Grow Education is about our garden program at the schools, but it's also about a farm to school program that we're doing with the New Bedford Public Schools in the food service department. We wanted to really make sure, this is what we love about you, and that you're cooking, is that you bring in that local, all the local farmers and producers that we have around us. We're so lucky to live here on the Southcoast with so much agriculture around us and all the fishing around us, that we really wanted to highlight that, the work that Lisa does here at Little Moss and celebrates the local producers that we have. But it's also because this is what we're trying to bring to the New Bedford Public Schools with Grow Education. So it's been a garden program historically. It's still a garden program. But in the last year and a half, we've really expanded it to become a Grow Farm to School initiative. So that we're linking those gardens with the classroom curriculum that's being taught, with the cafeteria and the food that's being served there, and making the connection back to the community, and making sure that we're using culturally relevant foods. So we're excited that we are able to work with so many great farmers and producers in the region. And tonight, a lot of your food came from either Round the Bend Farm, which is in South Dartmouth. Sid Rayner helped us source a lot of the produce that we got. And Foley Fish is where we get all of the seafood from. And I should mention that they donated all of the food, which was super.
Yeah, that was really generous.
Yeah.
We love working with Foley.
Yeah. And the scallops came from George's Bank, which I think is cool.
Yeah. Very local.
Okay, so going back, you're doing the chilies really small.
Yeah, so I did the chilies very thin, and again, you don't use a lot, just a little. They can be spicy, so we don't like to overdo it. I'll give you a little pile, to sprinkle on
These
yours.
are totally.
And as it sits, with the scallops. And you don't need to do a lot.
Really
Well,
I need to up my game with my making it look
okay, so the last thing, right before you serve it, you add the cilantro. I won't add it now because it'll start to roast a little bit if you add it too early. So this is what it should look like roughly. And we can just let this hang out.
You're starting to get like a little whiter.
Yeah, you can tell they become kind of opaque instead of translucent, and you can sort of see when they're done. So ideally, at this point, put this in your fridge while you make the rest of the stuff. The green salsa is what we'll make next. And then once you make the salsa, you can bring it back out and try it.
So
we'll
is this a staple on your menu here?
It's not a staple, but it sort of comes on and off.
And do you always do it with scallops, or do you?
No, we love to try other fish, whatever we think is really fresh and tastes good raw. So there's a lot of bass is a really good one. Raw to toss, raw that is really delicious and sweet and soft and is so we'll move on to the salsa verde. I'll just move these things and grab.
How's everybody doing at home? You now have your palomas? Have your wine?
Hopefully.
This totally on the way?
Yeah, we still need the salt again.
Okay.
And the olive oil. Okay, so I made a decision not to use the blender on camera because it's really loud and you have to blend it for about a minute, solid minute, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is when you're just watching a blender go on a video. So what I did was I just prepared all the ingredients as I would before I put it into the blender, and then I have a finished product to show you. So
we have the raw tomatillo.
Yeah.
Tomatillo. And these we got from Cerviche, but we grow these in our grow gardens. We're working with in Bedford. So this is for education gardens. So it's, we're using that.
Yeah.
So we had a conversation earlier about, what's better doing
tomatillo, and we do grow beautifully around here. They're really sweet. They almost taste like apples, I think, and they're really delicious. But sometimes they have like a slight astringent quality to them. So when you roast them, that astringency goes away. So it's really all about preference. Some people just have an aversion to that flavor. I like it both ways. I use them raw a lot, especially if they're really fresh. Sometimes I'll even put a fresh tomatillo right into a ceviche. But today we roasted them just to show you that option as
and
well.
you should have, this was in your you're supposed to roast it.
Oh yeah, yeah. And if you didn't roast it, don't worry. You can just throw it in raw too. So this is what they ideally look like roasted. There's a little char on there. They're soft, and the color changes a little bit. So all this stuff, you just jump right into your blender. So you take these, your garlic, which we get locally as well. Jalapeno, all you have to do is just chop the top off like that. And if you want to cut it into a few pieces, you can.
You leave the seeds in there?
Oh yeah, I leave the seeds in because I like it spicy. But if you prefer a milder version, you can just scoop the seeds out with a spoon. You could cut it lengthwise down the middle and scoop the seeds out with a spoon. But I always leave my seeds in.
Speak louder. We're being told to speak louder. It's hard to see. We're getting some feedback.
Okay. Yeah, I hope everyone can hear what we're saying.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can leave the seeds in or take them out, totally up to you. And then you take half an avocado and just take the pit out. That I usually do it that way.
Yeah.
And then just scoop the avocado with a spoon right into the blender. Dump all these things in the peeled cloves.
Yeah.
And then this is some lime juice that we have.
So was it 1 lime for this?
Yeah, it was a quarter cup of lime juice. So you have a quarter cup of lime juice, half an avocado, the roasted tomatillos, and 2 cloves of garlic, and that's it. And then a few sprigs of cilantro or the stems. If you just want to use the stems and save the leaves for garnish, we do that a lot here as well.
That's a new trick to me. Like I've noticed more and more recipes saying to use the cilantro stem and not the leaf itself. How come? Is it
so
more flavor?
the stems taste delicious, just like the cilantro leaves. They have that beautiful texture. It's like it adds a little crunch, and it's just less wasteful, I think.
Yeah.
So we try not to waste anything. But some people also don't like cilantro, so if you don't, just feel free to leave that out too.
And what was really cool is that before, when we were prepping and getting things ready, I got to go up onto the rooftop garden that they have here at Little Moss, and this is where the cilantro came from and the mint for us. But yours came through, the mint came through the farm, and the cilantro through Wayner. And I was telling you earlier that our gardens, most of our gardens are in beds. Jacob's School, which is in the south end of New Bedford, has a rooftop garden that is exquisite, really beautiful.
I'd love to go see it sometime.
Yeah, it's really neat. Definitely, absolutely. So love your rooftop garden. Good use of space.
Yeah, we tried.
Okay, so hopefully by now you're all kind of getting your pieces together for the salsa verde. Maybe you put somebody else in charge of slicing the scallops and getting that off. And then you've got a good press for your lime juice. Maybe you even pressed a bunch of lime juice before if you were really proactive. But we've already used the amazing Vitamix that they have here. I've been like a kid in the candy store. My frustrated restaurant chef abilities have been like coming out, and I love going in the back and playing with all the big gadgets. So it was a high-end Vitamix that.
Yeah, but any blender should work well. But we love our Vitamix.
So the finished product looks like.
Oh, okay. No. So the finished product looks like this. It sort of looks a little bit like guacamole, but it should be bright green and a little chunky and thick.
Spicy.
And spicy, yeah, spicy. We just use a little bit. So that's our salsa verde. And you can check on your ceviche at this point. It should be getting close.
So this looks so pretty, but I would think that you had to go and scoop it up and mix it around. You don't have to.
You don't have to. No, I mean you can if you like it to be perfectly uniform. But I kind of like the differences in texture that you get when some of it's still a little bit raw. But you can stir it up. Yeah, absolutely. No, not frowned upon at all. So at this point, I take just a little bit of olive oil, which might not be traditional, but I like it this way. And you just drizzle a little on top. And then a little bit of that flaky sea salt that we have. Yeah, just a little, it adds a little crunch here.
Pinch?
Yeah, just a pinch. I might do one more. And then the cilantro. And this cilantro is really just a garnish. So it's optional. but I like cheese.
It's all about making it look pretty.
Yeah, and it definitely adds flavor, especially the really fresh stuff that we're getting right now. So, here. And that's basically done. Oh yeah, well, that's a good example. You can do it however you want in your own house. So, lots of options.
Okay. Yeah, I like the way it looks with the olive oil on it.
Just adds a little something.
Yep. Sparkle.
Yeah.
It's a sparkle.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So
So
next,
we could eat it at this point, or if you want to save it until everything's ready and you're at the table, you can do that as well. So I'm going to move this, and next we'll move on to the fish tacos.
so one of the things we debated also in planning this was what fish to go with. So first we went with Taco Tuesday. We're doing this on a Tuesday night because the restaurant's closed. And we wanted it to have a school theme. So we sort of upscaled tacos that would normally be at the school. And so we're doing a fancy Taco Tuesday, doing fish tacos. We debated about what fish to use. And Lisa right away said we should use negative connotation with bluefish. And I think I did, to be honest. Because, you know, you always think it's like this heavy, oily fish. But it's not true.
Yeah, no. It can be heavy and strong flavored if it's not super fresh, which I think is what gives it its bad rap. But the fish that we get through Foley is very fresh. It's usually caught that morning or the day before and filleted on site for us. And their bluefish is really beautiful in the summer. It's local. It's very sustainable. And it tastes great. It's a good fish for tacos because it holds up with the spiciness and the sort of strong flavor really have with tacos. And the bright lime juice works really well together, we think. And bluefish is also kind of nostalgic for me. I grew up around here, and my brother used to go fishing for them, and then we'd cook them at home, and so it just reminded me of summer.
So, full disclosure, since we had this conversation, we started planning this. My husband and son have been fishing a lot this summer, and they brought and we cooked it, and it was delicious. And I was like, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah.
So I hope that you're all giving the bluefish a chance. I know the ones but those of you that are doing a virtual class that also come in the quarters for and the other thing that is sort of unique is that the skin is on and we leave the skin on. So we're cooking this with the skin on.
Yeah, so I love fish skin. I usually try to make it so it's crispy, and there's a lot of flavor in the skin. The texture is great. If you cook it properly, it gets, like I said, very crispy and adds just another dimension to the fish. And it's also really healthy. It has a lot of omega-3s, especially in the more oily fish, which helps it get crispy, but also imparts some good flavor. So it's kind of a shame to throw it away, in my opinion. But if you don't want to, it's up to you, of course.
But still easier to cook it with it on, and then you can take the skin off after you cooked it, or you can be adventurous with us and eat the skin and get your omega-3s.
So I would like to just change your and I really so we probably should make the sorbet now. So it has time. If you are using an ice cream maker, it has time to freeze for you. I should have done that first, and I apologize. But
no, we can do
that. There's still time.
This is all new.
Yeah,
this is all
there's
new.
still plenty of time.
It's working, and you're hearing us, and we're going with the flow. So
yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to clear my space and bring the sorbet ingredients Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm checking with my teammates. Is people
One-
hearing us okay now? It seems like hearing okay.
You're cutting out a little bit.
Face forward more. Right.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so again, prep work. You were all supposed to put the cucumbers into the freezer, cut them up and put them in the freezer. You've got different cucumbers. You've got little yellow ones.
Yeah.
Are these like a lemon cucumber?
Yeah, so these are called salt and pepper cucumbers,
Okay.
and we get them from Ivory Silo Farm. And they are so delicious and cucumbery tasting and sweet. And what I like about them is that the peel, they don't have to be peeled. The peel has a great texture. Makes it really easy for something like this. So I just prepped up my cucumbers by chopping them into chunks. If you do have a thicker peel on your cucumber, you can just peel it with a vegetable peeler and roughly chop. It doesn't have to look pretty because it's all getting pureed, which is why I like this recipe.
Yeah. No peeling of the cucumber, no peeling of the fish skin. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
Very easy. So
how long did you have your cucumbers in the freezer?
So, basically freezing it is just a step to speed up the freezing process. It's not required if you forgot to do that. But
There's a lot of people
we
going,
usually about a half an hour to an hour.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be, 2 is great too. It doesn't have to be fully frozen. It just makes everything go faster when you get to the freezing, the ice cream making point. So first, I'm gonna make the mint syrup that we add to the cucumbers. I just have 150 grams of sugar. And
how much in a cup?
it's about a cup, yeah. And then I have 200 milliliters of water. Basically, you just put it into a pot with a few sprigs of mint. And I usually use about 4 to 5 sprigs, depending on how big they are and how strong flavored they are. We have a couple of different varieties, so you can put whatever kind you want in.
Ooh, you've got a chocolate mint and then a traditional mint.
Yeah, I think
You all
it's
have
spearmint.
regular mint. Yeah.
So you just put it all in together and bring it to a boil. Let it simmer for about 5 minutes, and then it's ready to go. So,
and if you missed those amounts, don't forget you have all the recipes in your packet.
you simmer this, and you'll smell the mint. It'll smell really good. You can also, just a side note, you can also do this with basil, which is really good, like that Tulsi basil that we love would be great in this if you make it again. So once your mint syrup is ready, you put your cucumbers in the blender. For the syrup, take the mint sprigs out, pour the syrup over the cucumbers, and then just take a lime and zest it. I use one of these. If you don't have one of these, you can just cut. Sure, yeah, you can go right into here.
Okay.
And if you don't have one of those microplanes, I suggest getting one. They're really handy. But if not, you can just.
How much I use mine.
Yeah, it's going in the blender, so it doesn't really matter. It'll get blended up, and then that flavor will be imparted. And you don't have to do the whole thing, just a little to give it a little extra lime flavor. And then, so once you zest it, you can stop now. Zest it, and then we can juice the lime, which I have to grab the juicer.
Okay, I can do it without.
Okay, yeah, just.
It's always easy to juice after you.
After you. Yeah, exactly. So just squeeze the lime over the zest, And then you can pour it right into the blender with the other ingredients.
And that's the same way you make a simple syrup.
Yeah, it's the same way you make a simple syrup. The ratios are a little different. Usually for simple syrup, I do exactly 50-50. But it's very similar. Okay, so pretend we have a blender here. Dump everything in. And then just puree it until it seems very, very smooth. And once it's very smooth, strain it through a mesh strainer, and then put it directly into your ice cream maker.
For people that don't have an ice cream maker?
Yeah, so people, if you don't have an ice cream maker, you can still make a sorbet. The texture will be a little different, but you can put it into a pan and freeze it. And before it's fully frozen, just give it a stir and put it back into the blender. And then it should get pretty close to a sorbet texture that way, and then you have to freeze it again.
Okay,
so
let's go through that one more time. So those of you at home making the cucumber sorbet, you make the simple syrup, right? Follow the ingredients, and then you drain that, you put that over the cucumbers in the blender. Take the sprigs out of mint.
Yeah, make sure to take the sprigs out because it'll change the color.
And then you get your juice of one lemon, add that lime,
yeah,
one lime into the blender, mix it all, and then for those that don't have an ice cream, you're pouring it into a pan, sticking it in the freezer.
Yeah. Alternatively, you could put it into an ice cube tray, and then before it's fully frozen, blend it up again.
So is that like an hour? Like how long?
Yeah, it depends on the freezer. I would say check it after about 45 minutes.
Okay.
And then you can always repeat the process a few times too until you get it pretty close.
Okay. So go back to it 45 minutes later, give it a stir, back into your freezer.
Yeah.
And then you do it.
Well, you can do this. It's maybe more of a granita texture than a smooth sorbet, but it's still really delicious and refreshing.
Great.
Okay, so we'll take this stuff away.
How are folks doing at home? Are you keeping up with us? Are you falling behind? It's okay if you do, because we have the recipes. Go at your own pace. Some of you might be drinking more than you're cooking. It happens. No.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, and I need my category. Okay. So I'll hand you that. And yeah, we can do that. Great. So we have our beautiful Bluefish that we got from Wiley. It should look similar to this in your packet. And then we cut them into 2 pieces. And basically each, we should have enough for about 6 tacos total, depending on how big you make your. But what I like to do is cut them in, so there's 2 pieces per taco. So you just take a sharp knife and cut right through the skin, like that. once you have your fish pieces, they should look about like this. You want to season them with a little salt. Just gently season each side.
Skin side too.
Yeah, I always season the skin side. And then we'll toss it in the cornmeal. Yeah, so this cornmeal is special. It's we grind it here, and from corn that we also got from Ivory Silo. It's called Gloriani Red corn. Yeah, and it smells good too.
Ivory Silo is a farm. That's awesome. Gail and Dee are with here. Of Aaron seeds and growing seeds that are really grow beautiful things.
Yeah. So just take your cornmeal and sprinkle it onto a pan. Yeah, and then you just take the fish and make sure all sides are coated. And then if you'd like, you can put it here. I'll take this off. You can put it right onto this tray.
So some of you might be using cornmeal or recent is okay.
Like ground cornmeal, it can work with a coarser texture, but it's a little bit, just a little bit harder. So we try to go with the fine ground cornmeal. Oh, there's one more little piece here. And next we'll cut some cabbage. This cabbage is traditional on Baja fish tacos, and I like to use it as well. You can get it locally certain times of the year. So I'll show you how I like to slice it.
You all have green cabbage at home.
Oh yeah, green cabbage is delicious as well. I just happen to have red here.
Yep. So those of you at home, you're not going to need all your cabbage, or I guess you
yeah,
could.
you probably won't need it all. We just use a little bit as like a little salad on top of the taco.
Mm-hmm.
So I just cut the end off and save that for coleslaw or something, and then just very as thin as you can.
I'm super jealous at how thin you can get.
As long as you have a sharp knife, you should be able to get it pretty thin.
Impressively thin.
Okay, so I'll do 2 more cuts here, and then I'll show you. Just about that. That should be plenty for your tacos. So about 1/4 of a cabbage. And more. If you really love cabbage, you can put more on as well.
You're doing it, you might as well go for it. Although we're big on sauerkraut, making crabs.
Oh, yes. You could absolutely make a great sauerkraut. So, yeah, that's about what you want it to look like. And what I do before I cook the fish is I just add a pinch of salt to the cabbage and then some lime juice. So I just cut the lime like that and then squeeze it over the top and just sort of dress it like that.
Simple.
Yeah, very simple, but it's delicious and the texture is really nice with the fish. So, I guess it's time to cook the fish.
Are we going to do it? We're going mobile with this effort. So hopefully you're going to be able to stay with us and hear us But for the next part, what we're going to be doing is we need to go into the kitchen area. So Lisa's going to be bringing us into the back kitchen and showing you how to cook the bluefish. So we're gonna be moving. So stick with us.
Okay.
Stay with us.
Hopefully this will work.
We all have jobs.
Okay, and I'm gonna grab our tortillas as well because we'll warm the tortillas up. Come on. So welcome. Where we cook all of our dinner. If you've ever been here to eat dinner, most of your food was cooked right here. So I'm just heating up the pan.
Don't worry about audio. The fan is too loud for anyone to hear, so.
Okay. I just have to grab one thing. know you couldn't hear me talking. But I put some grapeseed oil in a sort of heavy bottom pan, and heated it up on high heat, and just cooked the bluefish for roughly 2 minutes per side. I cooked the skin side down first, and then flip it and cook the other side.
Smells delicious. I hope your kitchen is smelling as good as the smell. It's wonderful. Citrus and fish.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we're ready to make some tacos. I'll grab a plate. Let's see here. So, and you probably also saw me warming up the tortillas. I usually do them 2 at a time, so the inside is and the outside gets the color and I like to put a few slices of avocado on the tacos as well. And I'll grab a spoon for you. Sure. So we'll start to assemble. You just gently peel the tortillas apart. And they do stick a little bit, but that's okay. We'll do
So this is a good time to pull out your pickled onions that Lisa was good enough to make ahead of time for all of you, and your yogurt sauce that she made. You do have the ingredients.
I like to start with some of the green salsa that we made earlier, and you can put as little or as much as you want, depending on how much you like.
How spicy you make it.
Yeah, exactly. So I just put a little on the tortilla and make a little bed for the fish to go into. And next, I forgot my tongs, so I'll use my hands. Normally I would use tongs here. So you just put 2 pieces per taco. And then a little of the yogurt sauce. Right over. Again, as little or as much as you like.
Loving that flour.
Oh, good.
Is that a little strong flour?
It's a variety of marigolds, but I'm not sure, to be honest. And then we'll take some of our cabbage that we made earlier and just a little pile right on top of each taco. And then some pickled onions, which I grabbed another spoon for those. And oh, that's perfect. We can just put 2 slices of avocado per taco. Yeah. Great.
Definitely gonna be thinking about my presentation. That's so pretty.
Yeah, well, you use your eyes as well. So, and then just a few pickled onions, which add some nice color, I think. My daughter would love this. She loves pink and purple, so. And then sometimes I just add a little of this crispy salt that we have. And some, if you would like to do some fresh cilantro with. Sure. And then I just serve it with a lime slice. Whoops. I serve them on the plate like this for and it's okay if some stuff tumbles down. And yeah, just okay. And there you go. Those are the fish tacos.
Pretty good.
Yeah, see if you can see them. And then before you eat, I recommend just juicing a little more lime juice over the top. And enjoy. I don't know if you want to eat right now, Liz. Or
shove one in my mouth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We can give them to our crew in the back.
That's been so
yeah.
So supportive.
Yeah, and they're pretty big tacos, so 2 to 3 per person should fill you right up.
So that's it.
So yeah, that's it.
So don't forget about your sorbet. And
yeah, we can scoop it. I can show you how I like to serve the sorbet if you like.
And I'll just sort of start rounding things up.
Yeah,
Definitely want to give a shout out to all of you that have done this with us and stood by and stayed with us through the whole thing. We know that this was, the sound was a little off at times. Hopefully you got the majority of what we were saying and can hear us okay. We do have all of the recipes. This was a work in progress and we're learning as we go, and we are so appreciative that you took this journey with us and that you're supporting us and Grow Education this way. I hope that it was fun and that you learned how to do something different today, but that you'll be able to, do it again in the future. And we just thank you. Thank you for doing this with us and sticking with us when it was not the greatest sound, but it's a work in progress. We've mastered Zoom, but we haven't quite mastered the YouTube. And I just want to thank Patty, who's my teammate here, and Ben, who's been supporting us on the back side of this. They've been wonderful. Thank you both so much. Okay, we'll wait for Lisa to get a visual on the sorbet. Here it comes. We have a nice chilled bottle of wine there that she brought out too.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna clear this.
So you had some garnishes that you wanted to add to the sorbet.
So here we have the finished sorbet. I'll do a couple of bowls just for fun here.
Ooh, that's so pretty.
So I like to serve it with some fresh watermelon. Watermelon is so good right now, and a lot of local farms have it. So I just scoop a few spoonfuls, really as much as you want, into the bowl. And again, a little more lime. This is a traditional summer snack in Mexico. Fresh fruit with lime and chili on it. So this is just some serrano chili, or ancho chili rather. So you just sprinkle a little right on the watermelon, and then scoop it out.
So did you use an ice cream maker for that?
Yes, I did. We have one here, so. The scoop gives me a hard time. There we go. Yeah. And then you can just put a sprig of mint on top. And if you want a little more chili, but I like to just do the chili on the watermelon. So, yeah. There we go.
Beautiful. Bon appetit.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy everything that we made today. This was really fun. My first
yeah, thank you so much for this. Come visit them down here at Pygmalion Village, Little Moss. They're a fantastic restaurant. Beautiful deck outside that you can sit on. It's a great spot. And thank you so much.
Yeah, it was
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a great evening and enjoy your meal.
Good night.